welcome back to my channel, everyone. Thank you so much for all the support so far, as usual. I want to give a big shout out to my aunt as well, Auntie Jessica. She watches all the videos. She hasn't quite figured out, or there's some error with commenting, and so every time she watches a video, she sends me the comment that she would put under the video. So I really just want to big her up, shout her out. I remember when she called me and she was like, I'm gonna tell everybody that you have a YouTube channel and I'm gonna share it with everybody and so on. So big up yourself, Auntie Jessica. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody for the continued support. I am also going to shout out two persons, and I'm going to drop their YouTube pages, and I want you guys to go over there and subscribe. No, I'm not paid to advertise, but just go over there and subscribe to their channels. All right, now this video I am going to try as much as possible to keep it a little short. I'm also going to try not to like cut it too much. So I really want it to be kind of like a raw continuous thing. I can ramble sometimes when I'm passionate about certain things, so bear with me. Also, I know persons have been asking me for more videos. I'm going to try as much as possible to post more. I do have a weekend or a week challenge of challenges coming up, so it's going to be like a whole week of videos of just challenges. So if it's not just me, then it's going to be Kwesi and I. All right. I also want to do a grown woman talk, not a girl talk. So for persons who are interested in being in that video, whether it be a live or a Zoom, and then I'm going to post it on here. So it's either going to be a YouTube live or it's going to be a Zoom call with all of us just talking, and then I'll post it on here. If you're interested in being in that video and being a part of that discussion, please go ahead and send me a message or just leave a comment down below and let me know that you are interested. Send me a DM, whatever it is. If you have my number, go ahead and send me a WhatsApp message, and as soon as I am ready to give the topic on that discussion, then I will reach out to you so we can all just have a little chat. All right. I need a segment, like I need a name too for like the shout out segment. Like if you guys can come up with a really cute name or something. I don't know, I didn't want it to be just a Lady Rosh shout out or whatever, but if it's going to be that ultimately, then I'll just use that. But if you have like any little cute catchy phrases or anything that I can use for that segment when I'm shouting people out, then go ahead and drop it in the description below. All right, not the description below, the comments below, sorry. All right, so as you would have seen in today's topic or title, it is why I don't have a baby, or why we don't have a baby. And first of all, I'm not posting this video for any form of sympathy or anything. I don't even know if this video is going to be posted, to tell you the truth, because I mean, my husband is a little bit, it's not that he's secretive, but he prefers to keep certain things to himself. Like private is private, but I find that a lot of us females have this issue of people asking us, oh, when you're going to have a baby. And I've found that it's gotten worse since I've been married. I don't know about anybody else. People are now expecting you, now that you're married, to pop out a baby, because it's so easy to just pop out a baby, right? So like I said, I'm gonna try as much as possible not to cut the video. I'm also not going to get emotional. So if I'm talking about it and I don't get emotional, I don't want you guys to kind of judge me or whatever. I have been battling with this thing for so long now, and I've kind of left it to God. Like I've given it up. Like I've literally written it in a book that, God, I leave this to you. Like it's not even up to me anymore. I'm not crying and begging for whatever it is anymore. Like, I just write goals or I just write messages to God and I leave everything to God. So let's get to it. So why I don't have a baby. So Grace and I are going to be together for 9 years this year actually, and next month we're going to be celebrating our first wedding anniversary, you know. And like I said, people, you know, are always asking like, when are you going to have a baby, or when is the baby coming? And I mean, first of all, I just want to say that's not a compliment to someone. Sorry, you hear that wooing? It's because I don't know, it can be really windy, and so the wind passes through the door and the windows sometimes, but right, I hope it's not annoying or anything. So I mean, people asking, you know, when are you getting married? You know, you guys have been together for so long and so on. And I just want to say that it's not as easy for everybody to get pregnant. Like, I just want to put it out there. And it's not a compliment to keep asking somebody, when are you going to have a baby? I mean, if you and I are close, sure, you can say, you know, like, girl, I'm ready for your niece or nephew or whatever. But if we aren't that close, and I mean really that close, like my best friend, or I mean a family member that I'm super super close to, then I don't think you have a right to ask me like, when are you going to have a baby, or tell me that it's time for me to have a baby. No, 9 years ago when this relationship started, the goal was not to have a baby. And I mean, when we started talking, I was in college, and I think the furthest thing from my mind was having a baby. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about, oh my God, you know, what if I get pregnant? Like, I was never thinking about that at that time. And I mean, it was just not the life we chose at that time. And even after, you know, 2 years, 3 years, it still wasn't the life we chose. And I mean, it's, like I said, it's nobody's business if we decide not to have a baby right away, or if we decide after 5 years that we still don't have a baby, or we don't want a baby or whatever. But that isn't the case where it was that we didn't want to have a baby or anything. We were just focusing on other stuff. We didn't intentionally say, okay, guess what, we're not getting pregnant for now, or nothing like that. Like, we never made a plan to say, you know, this is what's going to happen. It just happened that we didn't have a baby, and I never questioned it or anything. And so there was a point when I got really really sick. I think it was even before him, and I had gone to the hospital, and you know, I'm not going to go into details. I found out that I had cysts on my womb, and I didn't really understand it. At the time, I was still in college. I think it was right before he and I started talking, actually. And I didn't really understand it. I mean, the only concern I had was, okay, so, you know, cysts on my ovaries, that could mean that I can't have children. And so I asked this female doctor who was there, and she was like, no. I mean, yes, it can mean that if they grow and damage and whatever. But for some people, the cysts are there, but they don't grow. So, of course, you're going to have to monitor them every 6 months. And at that time, I didn't even know how common it was for people to have cysts on their ovaries. I was just like, oh my God, something is wrong with me, you know? But at the time, like I said, at that time, the focus wasn't, oh, I want a baby, and probably I won't be able to have a baby. When she said that, I was like, okay, all right, in the future I'll have a baby. And then she was like, I also have it, and I have 2 kids. And I was like, okay, all right, fine. So the goal wasn't, you know, I wasn't even worried about it for long. I just researched it, and I knew that I had to go in every 6 months to do an ultrasound, right? And at the time, I wasn't able to do like a vaginal ultrasound because I was a virgin still. And I think, I mean, I was past 18, so I don't know if the doctor had said anything to my mother, because initially when I went to the hospital, it was just my little cousin and I, because my mother wasn't here. She usually goes away for like summer holidays and so on. And so if I'm here, and so I know I went to the hospital with my little cousin because I was feeling some pain and I started bleeding. Sorry for people who are a bit squeamish. So I mean, that happened, and then the lady told me what it was, and so I know every 6 months I had to go and do a checkup or whatever to see if they were growing. Like I said, I don't even remember if the doctor had said anything to my mother about it. But I know I was admitted in the hospital for I think about 2 weeks, and it was because the cysts were, I think there were probably two of them that were ruptured, and that was how the doctor realized that I had cysts. And so I was there, I was in pain and all of that, and I never fully understood at that time what it could be. And I'm so sorry if I'm dragging this story out. Like I said, I am going to try as much as possible not to cut out any. But you know, fast forward, I was out of the hospital, I was still in pain, but I had like antibiotics and so on because there was like an infection spreading and so on. And recovered from that, and of course in my adulthood I still had to go to the doctor to do an ultrasound to make sure everything was okay. And I remember the first time I went to do the ultrasound, and I got the results, I was able to collect the results, and I didn't even want to go to the doctor to find out what was wrong, my doctor. And I gave it to one of my friends who's a pharmacist, and I was like, listen, just tell me what it says, because I was just not in the mood to go to a doctor and for him to explain anything. Plus my doctor, Dr. Sunang, he was a very detailed doctor. Like, I love that man. Like, honestly, he was my doctor growing up, and you know, he's very detailed, and he'll go in depth about all of these things and different things. And you know, every year I would go to him and he'd be like, okay, so you know, you haven't had sex yet, you know, whatever. He was just always detailed, and I was just not in the mood to go to the doctor. And so I gave it to my friend, and you know, he read it and all of that, and he was like, oh no, well, one is bigger than the other, but it's fine, it seems like it's not much damage, yada yada yada. And I was like, okay. 6 months later I went back, and it was still not growing. They were still not growing. They were there, but the doctor wanted to put me on birth control, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that. You know, I don't want to cause any damage or anything for future when I'm ready. So fast forward to I was working at a hotel at the time. Loved it. Sandals. I was at Sandals actually as a wedding planner, and I had left. I think I had left, right? And then they called me to come back for about 2 weeks to help out the weddings department. And so I went back, and there was a big wedding actually on the private island that I did a couple. I think that's why they had called me back. There was a couple I'd met when I was there, and they remembered me, and they realized I wasn't there anymore, and they requested me. And so I went back. Big up yourself. And I think it was Courtney's wedding. I think it was them. She's a twin. Yeah, I think it was her wedding actually. She did a test drive thing, and then she came back the following year. And anyway, so I went there, and I was setting up, and you know, the whole works, and just doing my work. Let me tell you, weddings is no joke. And the team and I were out, and you know, instead of waiting on people to come to lift tables and so on, I was just lifting tables, I was lifting chairs, I was just kind of just, you know, moving about, doing everything, right? Everybody was busy, and so we're doing that. Anyway, the wedding went very, very late into the night, and the hotel put us up. So the hotel told us that we could stay on property and all of that and whatever. Of course, I think we were already prepared to stay over. So while I was setting up on the island and thing, I started to feel a little weird, you know, and I rushed to the bathroom, and I realized there was blood, and I was like, but I'm not supposed to be on my period or anything. And so I was a little bit concerned, but I mean, I was so caught up in the wedding, and I wanted the wedding to be perfect, that I was like, all right, fine, you know, get some tissue, the whole works. I don't know who can relate, and like I said, it's maybe a little squeamish for some people, but then I continued, and it might be too detailed too, so I continued working and whatever. And in the night, of course, it was pretty late, like 2 o'clock in the morning was when the wedding was finished, and I went to bed, and I was like, I don't feel so good. And I called Kwesi like early the next morning, probably like 5 o'clock in the morning, or 6 o'clock or something like that. It was pretty early though, I remember, because I woke up and I was just still not feeling good, and the blood was there, and I was like, you know, something's not right. And you know, he's always like, do you want to go to the doctor? And I'm the one who'll be like, I want to wait it out to see what happens. But I mean, I was scared, but I wasn't even thinking baby wise or anything. I was just thinking, oh shoot, like I tore something, or I was, you know, I overdid it, because I have a back issue too, and my back was killing me, and I was like, oh god, you know, I just can't be bothered. And he was like, no, I think we should go to the doctor. And so went to the doctor, and you know, he was like, I don't know what's happening, because I mean, it was coming down after a while, and I was like, just this isn't right, you know. And saw him, and he did an inspection, like one of the worst inspections for me ever, like I don't, yeah. And he was like, something's not right, you have to do an ultrasound. I was like, okay, all right, fine. And then the doctor was in there, and again, I wasn't expecting anything or anything like that, because of course doctors ask you every time you go there, are you pregnant, do you think you're pregnant, you know what I mean, all of that stuff. And found out that I had a early on miscarriage. And so I mean, because I didn't know I was pregnant at the time, it wasn't, when he told me, I was like, okay, you know. He was like, it's nothing wrong, you know, some women, their bodies do that, so they just get rid of, you know, before it's a certain time, whatever. And I was like, okay, I understand, you know, being logical, not being emotional. I was like, you know, inside I was still like, really though? But then I was, like I said, I didn't know, so there wasn't any attachment at the time. We weren't planning anything, so there was no attachment, say, oh, we've been trying, and you know, whatever. And so that happened, and you know, I left the office, and he was like, you're gonna be bleeding for a few days, and yada yada yada. I'm like, okay, fine. And you know, it was just us. We had that information. Of course, I told him in the car as we were driving, and he was like, how do you feel about it? And the more he asked me about it, the more we talked about it, and I was like, you know, I wasn't attached or anything. I started to get really, really emotional, and then I started to cry. And you know, I mean, like I said, I didn't have any attachment to it or anything, because it was pretty early, and I don't even remember. It wasn't I don't even remember, to tell you the truth. I don't want to tell you anything. And so I was like, oh my god, maybe if I didn't, you know, lift those tables or whatever at the time. But I wasn't even, you know, I just said, you know what, it's fine, it happened, everything happens for a reason. And I just went on about my business and cried a little bit, and you know, we kind of talked it through, and then I got over it. And you know, I was like, what if I cannot, like, what if I cannot bring one to term, or what if, you know, whatever it is. And I had my emotional thing, and I think he had his too, because sometimes we assume that when it comes to certain stuff that only the woman suffers, and I think sometimes the men involved, they do suffer too, but it's just that we think, oh, because it's our bodies, then they don't go through it either. But I really think that they do go through it. And he isn't a talker, and so, you know, like I said, we talked about it sometimes, but it didn't last long, and then we just went about our business. Because honestly, I don't think I cried for like 10 minutes. I think I just sobbed, and I just felt it, and then I was like, you know what, you know, it wasn't meant to be, right? And so that happened, and we just continued with our life. We weren't planning, we weren't trying, we're just going on. And you know, we got married, and then we were like, maybe we'll enjoy each other's company for 2 years. But I mean, we've been together for 9 years, so we're like, I mean, if it comes, it comes. And then we started thinking about it more, and saying, okay, let's plan for it, and thing. And we're still not there. And you know, it still irks me when people, and like I said, this isn't a video to sympathize with me or anything. I think in everything there's a lesson, you know. And I think for some people who, you know, you think it's okay, like sometimes you think it's okay, you don't know what people are going through, and you think it's okay to make a comment, you know, selfishly, because you're just thinking, oh well, I'm just asking, you know, you know, or somebody puts on weight and you go like, you're pregnant, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know. And it's so common. As I got older, I realized it's so common for more and more women to have certain things that prevent them from getting pregnant, you know what I mean? PCOS, like hormonal imbalances, you know, the whole works. Like there are, well, I think that's a hormonal imbalance too and all of that, but I mean, there are so many things that cause young women too, because people thinking, oh, but you're young, why you have issues, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, some people don't think it through. And you know, it's so easy for teenagers sometimes to just pop out baby after baby, for some people to pop out baby after baby. And I think it's so insensitive for people to, like I said, selfishly just make remarks about certain things as it relates to babies, especially for people who are pregnant. Sorry, not pregnant, for people who are married, or have been in relationships for a while, or are a certain age. People think, oh, but so I mean, when people are a certain age, you assume that it's time for them to have babies or whatever. And I mean, maybe we got that from like, or the old people in our family, like the grandmothers and so on, who think that, oh yeah, I guess, oh no, what time for you have a baby. Alright, so my video cut out, but I don't know, I'm almost done. But I think it's time we put down those little stereotypes that we place on women, and not just women, like men and women, because I find that when a man is a particular age too, then they think, oh, but how you not have a youth yet or whatever. I think it's, you don't know, you know, you don't know what it's like. And like I said, I don't even know if I'm going to post this video or not. When I made this channel, I really wanted it to be, you know, not pranks or, you know, that type of stuff. I don't think anything's wrong with those channels, but I mean, when I did it, I wanted this to be almost like my diary, you know what I mean? I want people to be able to relate to things that I'm saying, because I know there are people out there who struggle with so many things, and I wanted it to be a channel of empowerment for women and young girls, and just people in general. But I wanted to do just different segments of things that, you know, that say, hey, like, look, I understand, I've gone through it too. Hey, look, I'm going through it too. You know what I mean? Like, I just wanted to be, I just wanted it to be that type of channel. And so that's the type of channel I want it to be. And I mean, I'm so grateful to the people who continue to support me and who continue to give me kind words and so on. And, you know, like, big up yourself. You don't know how much it means to me. You don't know how, and that's why I start every video by saying I am so grateful. And I might not be getting there as fast as some people have been getting there, and I might not have the 1,000 subscribers or anything, but you know, it doesn't matter. I shared this morning with a group that I'm in. It doesn't matter how fast or slow you get there, as long as you get there. You know what I mean? And the aim, I think when I said it in my first video, the aim was never to get popular, to get famous, to whatever. When I did this, I wanted it to be a breather, you know, like a relief, to say, hey, you can do this, I can do this, I'm a regular person, and this is what I'm going through, and I know people can relate to what I'm going through, you know. And so I wanted it to be like that, you know. So that's kind of my story of, or my answer to why I don't have a baby as yet, right? So I mean, maybe it was a little bit too detailed, I don't know, but thank you if you've made it to the end. Thank you so much for listening. We haven't shared that experience with a lot of people, and so that is one of the reasons I'm not sure if I'm going to post it, because like I said, we are private people, but then people who know me know I will talk to people and I'll encourage people, and if I have to share my own story, then I'll do that, you know. um no matter how embarrassing it might be or whatever. Like, in order for people to understand that, listen, you're not in this alone. Like, I'll do that, and I like doing that with people. I think the only person I've ever told this to was my twin brother, and I don't know if I went into detail. I didn't go into detail so much about it either, but my twin brother and my best friend on my side, and that was it. That experience of losing or miscarrying or whatever. So yeah, there are people who are going to find this out. I mean, about me. I think I don't know, but big up to the mothers who have gone through it, who have carried far, whether it be 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 9 months, and then still ended up losing, their babies, their gifts. Everything happens for a reason. God knows everything best. Like I said, I have learned to just let certain things go and let God. It hasn't become just a saying anymore. I know some people say stuff and it's just a saying because you grew up hearing it, but let me tell you, I have put certain things to God, and I have challenged God about certain things, and I have seen where he has come through. I've just let go, and I've decided that, look, if it's for me, it will be for me, even if it's when I'm 40 or whatever. And if it's not for me, then God must have some reason, as to why it's not for me. And when I get there, when the frustration builds up, then I will, I'll overcome it. Whatever I'll need to do to overcome it, then I'll overcome it. But I've just decided that, it's time to let go, because I find that the more you stress about it and think about it, it's the more pressure you put on yourself, mentally and physically as well. And so I'm just working on me right now. I really am. I'm trying to be healthy. I'm trying to do some more exercises, mentally build myself as well, manifest more over my life. Like, listen, I preach this all the time now. You don't understand the power of manifesting and speaking stuff into being, like speaking stuff over your life, until you do it. Trust me. And so I'm just in that process of just growing and just trusting God, and just letting things work themselves out. That's really just it. Yes, I still get frustrated, and I sometimes complain, and then I remember who I am, and then I remember whose I am, and then I go like, nah, like, God blessed me too much for me to be ungrateful now. And so I just I've just learned to just let things go and just be happy for me, celebrate small victories. That's a big thing for me right now too. I just celebrate small victories. No matter how small it is, if I took off 1 pound, I celebrate it today, and if I put it back on tomorrow, I'll be like, okay, I need to work on losing that 1 pound again. Whatever it is, I sell one product. Like, let me tell you, I am, oh God, let me tell you, like, I don't know. I thank God for everything, and I thank God for you as well, and I thank God for you watching this whole video, and just listening to a young girl rant and go on. I'm not gonna ask if you can relate. You can leave your comments down below, but you can share some. And what I will say is, you can share some encouraging words to people who may be going through it. I mean, just generally, you don't have to call people's names or anything, but you can share a prayer for them, or just share an encouraging word, just in case anybody is watching this and can relate as well. Just share a word of encouragement for them, and just build them up, just give them some strength. That's all I can say. Same for the men. Don't just send a word for the women, send a word for the men too, who stand by those women, and go through it with those women just the same, and they might be silent, but they silently go through it, you know, and build those women up and hold those women up, and hold them when they're crying and so on. So, you know, celebrate those men too and send some encouraging words to them as well. That's it for me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. If you can, share this video with someone who you think might need it, or maybe if they don't need it, you can still send it to them, because maybe they'll know somebody who need it and can relate to it as well. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey with me. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for your words of encouragement. I really, really appreciate it. I cannot say thank you enough. Can you imagine? You know, like I said, celebrate small victories. I am there with you. I am so grateful. Trust me. Don't forget, like I said, for the persons who want to be a part of that grown woman conversation that I'll have on here, whether it be live on YouTube or Zoom or whatever other medium we'll use, don't forget to send me a message to say that you'd like to be a part of that as well. And like I said, I have that week, so I will have video after video after video coming. I hope I can keep it up. But I know people have been asking me for videos, and so I will try to do that week of challenges for you, starting either this weekend or, you know, next week, the new week. So bless up, stay safe, keep sweet, and God bless you. Bye.